One of the things I love to talk about is evolution. It's a fascinating subject, and as you've probably seen, I've got many books on the topic. So when I see videos like this...
Hello guys, now this is a bit of a treat because I've probably got the three biggest brains, the three creationist brains in all of the UK right here next to me, and these guys believe in a young earth creationist. They don't believe in evolution.
Then I simply have to comment. This is apparently 3 academic professors debunking evolution. Give me strength. Hello all, and thank you very much for joining me for another episode of Tinfoil Tuesdays with me, Simon Dan. Oh, before I begin, I want to show you this new gadget I've got. Check this out. Computer, give me the location of Conspiracy Cats, please.
Conspiracy Cats is located in his car.
How cool is that, hey? And, computer, where is he going?
The car is currently stationary.
Okay. Maybe he's parked up or something. Computer, how long has he been there?
1 hour and 37 minutes.
Right. Maybe he's broken down or something like that. Computer, can you give me a visual?
Bob, we've been through this. Dell isn't available for live streams at the moment. No, I don't want a used ring laser gyro for a knockdown price. No, I don't want to swap Dell for Jaren.
Right. Okay, so that's my new computer. She'll be a Tinfoil Tuesday and Flat Earth Friday regular from now on. So, back to today's video. That opening clip was from a YouTube channel called Off the Kirb Ministries, and he's bumped into these 3 professors who do not believe that evolution is a thing, and to think you're supposed to get wiser the older you get. Let's listen in as he questions the 3 professors.
And I've got them to ask them one question. Now, on the streets, as a street preacher, I meet lots of people who say, I don't believe in God, I don't think there's any such thing as a God, and evolution's the answer. And then when I start asking them some questions and say, so do you understand evolution? They don't.
That's odd, because usually it's the case that people who deny evolution don't understand it properly. And I'm guessing that's the same for you too.
So what would be a sort of simple rebuttal to evolution which you could give to these young people or someone who doesn't really understand science? Let's start with Andy first, Andy Macintosh.
I'd say to someone who was saying that, where does a feather come from?
Is that a trick question? A bird?
I've got a feather here, right?
Oh, how convenient.
Now, a feather is made of things like your fingernail and the hair that I used to have on my head, but I won't pull it off.
He is, of course, talking about the protein keratin.
But, you know, feathers have a remarkable structure which is only seen at the microscopic level. Ask this gentleman or the lady who's asking this question, how come that when you put feathers back together again with a brush over the fingers over the barbs, they come back together again? There is an amazing mechanism of hooks going one side from each barb, and barbules, they're called, these are mini barbs. On the other side, they've got ridges on, so the hooks are sliding over the ridges, but at a microscopic level. So, yes, it's true that scales are also made of another type of keratin, and so the evolutionist says that keratin from a scale has changed into a keratin of a feather. But where did the structure come from? Tell me, how did it happen?
Now, of course, it is well understood that birds are an evolutionary offshoot of the reptile family tree, and there are hundreds of millions of years between the two. However, we can see today how this transition could have happened. When baby birds hatch, their feathers are nothing more than tiny bristles that rise up from its skin. Only later on in their development do these bristles split open into more complex shapes. These bristles come from tiny patches of skin cells called placodes. A ring of fast-growing skin cells on top of these placodes builds a cylindrical wall feature which ends up becoming the bristle. Now, during a reptile's developmental phase, they have these skin cells too, these placodes, and each one switches on a gene that causes only the skin cells on the back edge of the placode to grow, and that eventually causes a scale. Feathers are not a variation on a theme. They are simply using the same basic structures to grow. Once the first placode had evolved, it would only needed minor adjustments to produce increasingly more intricate feathers.
Everything is telling you that there is a mechanism here where you've got to have barbules on that side different to the barbules going on the other side, and that's the clever little mechanism in every feather.
See, it's now not a massive stretch to go from hollow tube to feather with barbs on. The barbs were needed so that birds could withstand the high air pressure on their wings during flight. Also, he neglected to mention that these aren't the only type of feathers. There are feathers that don't have these barbs on as well.
Did you know that every feather is controlled by a muscle on a bird? And that for some birds there are literally tens of thousands of different types of feathers.
That statement proves nothing and doesn't even help your argument. By the way, Professor Andy Macintosh is a professor on thermodynamics and combustion theory, not evolutionary biology.
Thank you, Professor Andy Macintosh. Let's come next to Professor Stuart Burgess. You need to Google this man's name. He's an interesting man.
I think one of the things I would tell people is the human body is full of amazing design and irreducible design.
Really, Professor? You're going to go down the irreducibility route? Come on.
This is a kind of design where you need lots of components simultaneously for that system to have a useful function. So, for example, in the knee joint, we have a mechanism. This is a parallelogram 4-bar mechanism, but if I invert that, I get an inverted 4-bar parallelogram mechanism. And if you have a healthy knee, you have one of these in each of your knees. These red bars are the cruciate ligaments, and they guide the knee. You also have a cam mechanism, the way the bones roll over each other. But this is an amazing design, and all engineers know that this 4-bar mechanism cannot evolve step by step. You need all 4 bars, all 4 pins simultaneously. It cannot evolve step by step.
Firstly, changes in evolution do not all have to occur simultaneously. That is your first mistake. Secondly, the 4-bar linkage system in our knee is seen in almost all 4-legged land-dwelling animals. The human knee has subtle differences due to our bipedal nature, and that would have evolved from a more primitive system of ligaments. What you've actually done is point to something that is actually very strong evidence for evolution. So well done you.
And lots of other parts of the body, we have this irreducible design. We have an arched foot, which is a little bit like an arched engineered bridge. It cannot evolve step by step. All of the parts need to be there together.
More ridiculous proof that evolution can't happen. I'm getting tired of him.
Just another thing I want to mention about the human body. The human body is full of over-design. Our hands are not designed to throw a punch, as evolutionists say, or to throw a spear. They're designed to play the piano. When you think of the amazing skill that humans have to play musical instruments, that makes sense if God has created us, but it doesn't make sense if we were evolved to be hunter-gatherers.
This is an absolutely ridiculous statement. Some people do things with their fingers that are absolutely barbaric. Not to mention that fingers seem to fit perfectly well in all of the orifices of the human body. Did God want people to do that too?
Just one last thing I want to say. A lot of people think all academics in universities are confident in evolution, they don't believe in intelligent design. But having spent 25 years in academia, I'm amazed how many academics are very sympathetic to intelligent design. That doesn't come across in the media, but that's what I found from first-hand experience.
And that is because Professor Stuart Burgess is a professor in engineering design, not evolutionary biology.
Thank you. And Professor Stephen Taylor now, your evidence.
Well, when I teach at university, I teach electromagnetics, and also this year I teach electrical drives.
So not evolutionary biology then? Okay, cool.
And we try and study electrical machines. That's the things that we find in anything from a Hoover or a car or an electrical motor in an engine.
So things that are designed are made by humans then? Gotcha.
But the smallest electrical drive on the planet is called ATP synthase. Let me say that again. ATP synthase. It's the motor in your cells. There's trillions of them in your body, and in fact throughout life on Earth, from simple cells, simple creatures right up to us.
Notice how he went from simple creatures to us, assuming that we are the peak. Such arrogance in his creationist view.
But also, these motors are far more efficient than anything we can design, humanly speaking. They're more than 99% efficient. They rotate at speeds between 6 to 9,000 RPM, and that they produce the energy that we need to keep going. If these stop, you and I die. That's how important they are. Now, the problem for evolution is this. Not only are they irreducibly complex, as Andy and Stuart have just mentioned,
which we've now discovered is an argument that has less weight than a flat earth one. Oh, sorry, wrong episode.
But also that you need to be alive for the evolutionary process to work.
What? You need to be alive for evolution to work? I'm gobsmacked.
And without one of these things there, you would be dead. So it's a real chicken and egg at the nanoscale, and it's got all the hallmarks of intelligent design.
Intelligent design. If everything is intelligently designed, then why do I need these for driving? Why design something like the eye, for example, that can go wrong in multiple ways and at multiple stages of life? Why not make it so that it can never go wrong? What's the point?
The last piece of design argument, if you like, or evidence for creation is this. No one has ever seen a computer program that's been produced by a random process, because random processes cannot produce sophisticated levels of information.
And that right there is why you don't understand evolution.
So guys, you've heard it here. 3 professors have challenged evolution. What are your thoughts? Leave it in the comment box below.
My thoughts? Nonsense. Right, there we go. Another fantastic episode of Tinfoil Tuesday, done and dusted. Why is it that these people do not understand that the fossil record is fantastic evidence for evolution? And talking of fossils, I've got just enough time to thank subscriber Chris Marshall for sending me this wonderful fossil of a Noitea eocena. It is fantastic and it will go beautifully on my shelf. Thank you all very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you enjoyed it today. I have been Simon Dan, and I will see you all on Friday, where the Patreon voted video winner will be looked at again. See you then.